And now, the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.
Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
And I'm Andrew Sabo.
And I'm upset.
Yeah, what, Dylan?
At this episode, Andrew.
What
it's
episode
Home
would
Again,
that be?
Part 1, episode 724.
Beautiful.
It's an episode written and directed by Paul McCusker and no one else. And
So we only have him to blame.
And inexplicably, it only aired 9 months after the last episode that we covered.
Wow.
But it feels like a lifetime.
Yeah.
Also on the topic of inexplicably, do you remember what rating on the wiki the Labyrinth Part 3 had, Andrew?
93%.
Do you know what rating this episode has on the wiki, Andrew?
I'm looking at it now and it says 93%. No. No. This is bad, no. This cannot be. Those were two very different feelings.
Do you remember what we talked about last episode about an award that maybe the Labyrinth might have won? Do you remember what that was called?
The Avery Award.
Yeah, for what was it for, Andrew? Remember?
For best episode and best script.
No, it was just for best episode.
Oh, just best episode.
However, this episode got both.
Why? I mean, I get it. Like, they're just okay.
You know how the last album was called The Deep End? I feel like I'm in the deep end now.
Yeah. I'm drowning. I can't see the bottom of the pool. I did a belly flop and I'm losing consciousness. This is bad. This is really bad.
Okay. We know we don't like to rag on episodes off the top. This might be the only episode that we have covered where my second listen was viscerally painful and I almost bailed on it.
Like, I just can't do this.
We've covered episodes that I think are evil. Like,
yeah. Genuine.
Let me be clear here that there are episodes that I think are more sinister than
and more
these
problematic
ones, that have bigger, deeper issues.
Mm-hmm.
But they were more enjoyable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, call modesty is the best policy. I mean, we'll name drop here. I would take that over this.
I mean, I'd listen to A Sacrificial Escape again.
Yeah, what a breath of fresh air that was. We didn't even know it was Maury in the voice at the time.
I'm glad.
And the frustrating thing is that this episode has such dense Odyssey, characteristics. It has Jack and Joanne and Whit and Eugene and Connie and Penny and Wooten.
Yes, that is the whole cast.
Did I name everyone?
Everyone except for Sebastian Karazinski, who's the person that Wooten talks to at the very end. But
oh, you mean Eugene?
That is what I mean.
Yep. Anyway, wow, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we don't have to cover cast for this
I
episode.
mean, so he's voiced by a guy named Nicholas Guest.
I was proven wrong.
Who was also he previously, so he's in this episode, the next episode. He previously voiced a character called Robert Cushman in a Truth Chronicles episode called Stepping Stones Part 1. I have not listened to any Truth Chronicles, so that's all on you, buddy.
Yeah, no. I mean, I remember Stepping Stones as an episode title, but I don't remember what happened in it at all.
Gotcha.
So helpful.
He is a actor of note. I think he's got 195 IMDb credits. His most important credit to me, he's in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation as the next door neighbor Todd.
I have never seen that movie, but I recognize it's a very important movie that I just have. I mean,
that hurts,
yeah,
because people at home who know that, why is the carpet wet, Todd? That's who this is.
Yep, that's
He's Todd of Why Is the Carpet Wet fame.
Wow.
He also voiced Martian Manhunter on Batman Brave and the Bold. Is the voice of the robot in the MacGyver reboot.
That's unfortunate.
Is it?
Yeah, some things don't need reboots.
He's a character called John Teller in Sons of Anarchy, which is a show that people watched and had a lot of episodes, and he's in a lot of episodes, so I guess it's worth noting. But yeah, he's like,
guy about town.
Yeah.
He's pretty successful.
And
playing a very, presuming this jeweler is significant to the plot of the next two episodes, or the next episode, which I do not know for sure. That's a really big actor to play a very nothing role.
I mean, like medium
the
big. I mean, he's been in stuff. He's done stuff on screen, but I don't know that he's like, he's not a name that people know.
No, certainly not. But to go from Sons of Anarchy to Adventures in Odyssey is a bit of a...
Yeah, I mean, those seem like they're in different worlds.
Yeah, definitely. But hey, man, you just follow that paper trail wherever it leads.
The other thing I would like to note is, when did that... So this episode aired in December of 2012. Mm-hmm. To kind of commemorate the 25th anniversary. This was the last album before they hit their 25th anniversary. Mm-hmm. And then they released the new edition of the official guide, which weirdly leaves these episodes out, but it's fine.
I'm not mad.
And also they did a collection called Our Favorites Actors Picks, which was a boxed set of 25 episodes of Adventures in Odyssey that came out in June 2013, where actors on Adventures in Odyssey and some behind-the-scenes people apparently went through and picked episodes that they felt were their favorites, and then they released them in a box set.
Okay. I'm trying to pull up the album.
Don't pull it up right now, Andrew, because I want you to guess. So these episodes were included. Mm-hmm. Part 1 and Part 2 of Home Again were included on that album. Which actor chose those two parts together as their favorites? And I say this in big air quotes because I don't know. I don't want to read too much into things. I think it's weird. We'll get into it. What actor do you think chose these two episodes?
Townsend Coleman.
No, he chose A Name Not a Number, Part 1 and 2.
Good. That's the correct answer. Was it Katie Lee?
It was Katie Lee.
Katie, no, why?
And maybe the next episode will be amazing, and I will have to eat my socks or whatever.
I'll eat my shorts. You eat your socks. We'll have a full meal of just clothing.
Yeah, we'll do it on Instagram Live. Whatever. Do
it live.
Maybe there is reason between these episodes as to why this happened. I think it is.
Can I give a headcanon reason?
Well, I feel like they had to. They felt like they had to put recent episodes on. Mm-hmm. I think is part of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and
because you can't release a collection of our favorite episodes and have them all be from the first 10 years of the show.
Yeah. Exactly.
This is to commemorate 25 years. They kind of have to spread it out.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I'm sure they probably gave them what are your favorite episodes from this category of albums, and maybe you got to submit 3 or 6 or something like that. And Katie Lee probably liked this in the new episodes because it involved working with Joanne and getting to see Janet Waldo again,
right?
And Townsend Coleman and
Yes.
Kimmy Robertson and Jess Harnell, which is this New World meets Old World situation.
This is the
really
thing I was
plays
gonna say.
Well,
Yep, is I think that there's some these episodes genuinely might have been a blast to make. I am not trying to take away from it.
but they are terrible episodes.
Well, at least this one. Once
least
again,
this one.
we cannot speak to both. I only heard this episode for the first time today, and also for the second time today.
Barely.
But
Yeah, no, it is upsetting.
it just It also, it's like your 25th anniversary included the two most recent episodes, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, it had to.
I think
right?
that they're 10 and 11 on the album. So not quite, but dang close. Anyways,
Do we have a promo for this episode? That's normally what we do after this.
sure. Let's promo it up.
On the next adventure in Odyssey, Connie confronts Wit about an unexpected visitor.
You were talking to someone,
Was I?
and it sounded like Jason.
Did it?
Whit, you're answering my questions with questions.
Am I?
Will Connie's suspicions be confirmed? Or will her assumptions prove wrong? That's a lot of questions. The answers are coming next time on Adventures in Odyssey.
It's a zany, wacky, not enjoyable time in Odyssey.
This episode, it feels like I think I've hit on maybe the right analogy.
Go for it.
It is a bad reunion concert.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. 100%. A really bad one.
It has been 10 years. Let's put this out in this hypothetical. The band's frontman has passed away.
Yep.
They've recast him with Adam Lambert, and they're
They are both clearly withered away. The remaining members are withered away from years of aggressive drug use.
right, and they're bringing them together for a farewell tour,
Yeah.
or a hey, let's get the band back together, and it just doesn't work. And I wish it did. I really do, because
and
there's some bones here that are good, but everything they either make, in my opinion, they've got two calls and they choose the wrong call, or they I don't know. I can't tell if they think we want different things, or they want different things, or they just don't care that much. This episode felt like the first time with Odyssey where I went, oh, maybe, and I know, and this is going to sound dumb, because I guess it's got to be true, but it's just oh, maybe the people making this care less than I do.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate because it sounds kind of just a really bad best hits reunion concert.
Right.
It's just
right.
I mean, Connie, all this character growth.
It's not even the concert. It's like a live album put out from a reunion tour. Because there's not even the excitement of getting to see all these people together again.
Hey now, what about Led Zeppelin's Celebration Day? I will come to defend that reunion concert. That was a good one. Because they got John Bonham's son to play drums.
Yeah.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to do this that work.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, there's one. So, right off the bat, I just was upset. And it's just the wrong energy going into this episode. Chris does I think it's And Now Adventures in Odyssey,
yeah.
and it's just got this kind of like upbeat tone.
Yeah, it's very upbeat.
This episode has like clown music in it.
Yes! Like, why? And it's about contemplation? Like Jason's contemplation?
Now, the theme of this episode is assumptions.
Yes, of course. Naturally. That's Odyssey's favorite theme.
This is exactly it. This is why I'm saying it's just... This is...
The old Connie's the scapegoat episodes.
Right. Well, we've essentially done this episode with Eugene, and we covered it on this show, and it's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Wait, which episode are you talking about?
Whatever the first of the most extraordinary, most absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Well, the Eugene Returns.
Yes.
3-parter. Is like Eugene comes back to Odyssey and doesn't want to be around people, and they all barge in on him anyways.
Yep. Yeah, no.
They're unable to keep secrets, and they all bombard him, and it's awkward. And it feels like we are setting up for that same exact thing,
but worse. Just you took everything beautiful that was made in the previous one and just light it on fire.
I know. I cannot believe
glorious
how high we were on the Labyrinth Part 3 to come crashing into this episode.
I feel like I fell 3 stories.
Right! That is part of the problem.
Yeah.
Is we were just like, the Labyrinth is like, what if old Odyssey could still be made?
Yeah.
And then Home Again is just like, what if we were zany?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
what if every single thing was a trope? Not like even a trope show would be more meta. It'd be at least funny in that respect. Like,
so
anyway, we should just cover what happens.
We do need to, but like we can't beat for beat through this one. It's just gonna be exhausting.
Yeah.
So let's try and I'm gonna like.
I'll follow your lead.
Yeah. Let's just like I want to talk about it all, but I don't want to be super granular.
No, of course.
So that my first note is like, man, I cannot communicate strongly enough how quickly all hope for this episode came crashing down. My first note is this new Odyssey like vibe is so triggering.
Yeah.
And then it was Jack and Joanna retiring.
Yep.
Okay. And then why does this episode sound so much worse than the last one?
It's because it's horrendously expositional writing. Like literally the first line of dialogue, like the first 2 lines of dialogue are Eugene talking to Whit about this program, and Whit just sets up the entire situation as to what's going on right now, and it is the opposite of, show don't tell. This was all tell. Right. Just tell, spew out of your mouth, and you're like, oh, this is just I'm just checking out.
Yeah. And so it's the conversation between Whit and Eugene. Eugene's setting up some inventory software for Joanne, and then security sensors go off in the tunnel. And Whit's like, oh, I gotta go check that out. It's probably just a rat, but I'll go check it out. Cut to not him checking it out.
Nope.
Cut to he walks out of his office, and Joanne is there, and she says good morning, and he says good morning, and I legit thought it was a different day.
Yeah. No, I was very confused. The way that it cut doesn't make any sense.
It's weirdly sloppy.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what?
Maybe they got trashed and made this episode.
Dude, I don't know. So it was, I will say, nice to hear Joanne's voice.
Yes, that was incredible. And hearing that her and Jack are going to retire to Scotland is super cute and exciting, and like...
Yeah, and it's
that gives me warm, fuzzy feelings.
Right, it's the whole Alan Young Scotland connection.
Yeah.
And I like Janet Waldo, and it's just like, it is lovely to hear from her again. But something, it's so painful to hear her talk to Andrei Stotka. And I am generally positive on him as a voice actor.
Yeah.
Even if I am not on like this era of writing. I think he services the scripts extremely well.
Yeah, oh yeah. And he's got a great voice.
Yeah, but this is just a moment where there's no way to make it work.
Yeah, no.
Because you're relying on a ages-long repertoire between these two characters, and you're just sitting there listening going, this is the first time these people have ever spoken to each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you fix that. And it makes me sad because, like, I want their connection to be good. I want this to be, like, a really, like, heartwarming scene. And instead I'm just like, who is this guy talking with Joanne? And it's I'm sure it's partly, like, I'm sure a good part is the performance, but it does feel like the manner in which he is talking.
Yeah.
And I don't know what degree is bad scripting and what degree is not nailing the vocal tone. But,
well, and yeah, and I think that would make a lot of sense for Andrei Stoica to fall flat, because there's affection in there, and the previous inflections of, Paul Herlinger's voice are very significant, I feel like, in how he relates to, Jack and Joanne, where they have this whole backstory together.
Yeah. It's weird because on the flip side, like, well, two parts. So I guess one, I think his interactions with Jason later in this episode are equally awkward, or maybe not quite equally, but are also have a level of awkwardness. And we've heard him talk to Jason before, and we've heard him hang out with Monty for a while, who's another, like, old character, and all of that worked. And I feel like, I don't know, I
liked what Whit had to say later in the, like, what he had to say to Jason.
Yeah.
Because he was reminding him of, like, you're doing something hard, and then he says, I'm proud of you for trying.
I know what you're saying, but I weirdly, like, I didn't think this was the first episode that we have listened to covering Green Ring that felt like the quote-unquote new Odyssey that I think of with Maury. Up till this point, it felt like, okay, they changed some cast around, the soft reboot, whatever, but it tonally felt the same. Like, the Wooten and Penny episodes we covered could have happened pre-album 50, I wouldn't have batted an eye.
Yeah. Or
Green Ring, for the most part,
yeah,
could do that, and Labyrinth 100% could. And this one feels like this could only exist now.
Yes, 100%.
And I cannot put my finger on it.
Is there a different
episode
production
came out 9 months after the last one.
Yeah.
So it's not even like it should be that, there just shouldn't be that big a gap. I will, to your point, this one is engineered by Christopher Deal rather than Jonathan Crow, who did the previous one, but it's not like Deal is, like, new to Odyssey.
Yeah.
He came on with Passages.
Oh,
and did the Green Ring episodes for the most part and other stuff.
So he's, this was an executive decision.
It's not like he
totally shift it.
Well, or accidental or whatever. But it's not like the behind the scenes crew has really changed between these two episodes.
This is just, what is this, 2 albums before The Ties That Bind?
Oh, is it?
Because, well, I didn't realize The Ties That Bind was the last, like,
long album.
Yeah, full album. And, I mean,
it's an extra long album.
It's an extra long album, and it royally flopped. I think.
Did it? I don't have any.
I
How
know
do you
a lot
even
of people
know?
got frustrated
How do you
with
even
it.
know what Odyssey like? Yeah, so it is 2 albums before. But how do you even know what is successful in Odyssey? I don't know. It's not like we've got box office numbers here, folks.
Yeah, that's fair. I would take them, though. If I could get access to them, I would absolutely love to see the revenue made per episode.
Yeah, no, it would be very interesting.
Maybe not total numbers, just like percentage based from the mean. You know, I don't need
There you
to.
go.
I don't need to.
Yeah,
Need the
how
nitty gritty.
how much money does Adventures in Odyssey make focus on the family? I want to know this. Like, how much profit did they get, and how much is just offsetting their own costs?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We will never know.
No, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the future we get a Odyssey. Well, a Focus on the Family streaming service that features new Odyssey content.
Along with what? Focus on the Family doesn't really produce other entertainment anymore.
They don't?
I don't think so. I think this is basically it.
It could stand to go. Apparently. Apparently that's what this episode has proven to me.
So, anyways, the
Where were we?
looping back, just the pain of listening to New Wit and Joanne talk, and then and so then Joanne's dropping off all these books that she's donating to the Wits End Library, like 10 boxes worth. She thinks she saw Jason when she was coming along town and coming across town. And Wit plays all coy. Wit plays coy here. He played coy earlier about the alarm in the tunnel. Wit plays coy again here. Then Joanne exits the basement and Wit opens up a door and says hi to Jason. And it's like, but he didn't know he was there for sure. He's just God? Like, he played coy,
he must have known on the sensor.
known
and,
that, like, Jason was coming? Or, like, the sensor popped up and said, "It's your son, Jason Whittaker. We read his Monty chip."
That's a good joke. No, I was thinking like an infrared situation where he could see that it was a person and he would be the only person who could have guessed the password. Maybe.
Yeah, well, because then Wit's
That-
like, "How
that
did
was-
you know the password?" And he's like, "I just know you,
I
Dad."
know you, Dad. Gotcha. That's Wit. You're so important. Like, you have world-changing technology at your fingertips. You could stand to have some like more significantly encrypted passwords. Like, your son should not be able to guess it.
Yeah. Well, and just on the topic of this feeling greatest hitsy, I both love and hate that he comes in via the tunnels. I think it's fun because it's like, oh yeah, the tunnels
tunnel,
at the basement of Wits End, like, that's so great. And then it just also feels cheap to use them in an episode that I dislike.
No, yeah.
But like, if I liked the episode, I would be praising that. So like,
Hey,
I should have
maybe part 2 will
should
redeem
have dunked
it.
that hard.
It probably won't, though. I'm guessing like a 75% chance that part 2 does not redeem this.
So yeah. Then yeah, Jason's all like, "Hey, you know, I'm quitting Odyssey, or I'm quitting the
The agency.
agency for real now." What agency? I don't know. But also, there's only 2 that have agency at the end.
CIA. What's the other one?
NSA.
Oh, yeah.
But,
And NSA previously.
NSA is Wit, not Jason, I think.
Yeah, Wit worked with NSA.
Wit worked with the NSA. I assume Jason's CIA if he's been, you know, spending so much time overseas and whatnot. But who knows? I'm gonna keep it. Just, this feels like an episode of like old Odyssey, Jason and Joanne meet new Odyssey, Wit and Goofy
Wooten.
Connie and Wooten and Eugene and Penny.
Yeah. Connie and Eugene have pretty good chemistry in this episode, which I do like. It's not good. It doesn't feel real at all because it neglects all of the growth made by both of those characters throughout the time. But if you told me that, like, Paul McCusker just went back and listened to album 5 like 8 times, and then he wrote this episode based on the idea that Jack and Joanne were retiring. Like, yeah, you could sell me on it. This is some album 5 dynamic, and it's... You could call it endearing, or you could call it traumatic.
Yep. And then Wit's like, well, oh wait, no, that's not now. Oh, it's right. There's this dumb thing where like Wit pushes Jason back into the hole as Connie comes downstairs, and then like Connie is like, I like the slight subversion here where Connie notices and isn't totally oblivious to it.
Yeah.
But then it's just to set up nosy Connie, which is the worst Connie.
Yeah. No, it's like old lunch meat Connie. It's just bad.
Yeah, and so Wit's like, yeah, don't worry about Jason, he'll be fine, just pray. And Connie's like, oh, he's saying to pray, that means Jason must be in danger. And Eugene's like, oh, well, it's actually always good to pray. We don't only pray when someone's in trouble, Connie. I'm like, what is this dynamic? When did Eugene become a more mature Christian than Connie Kendall?
I mean, he's kind of always been like the smart aleck.
He smart for sure, but like Connie became a Christian on the 3rd album, and it took Eugene another 25.
Yeah.
Like, the whole point of his character is that he is the newer Christian. And, like, Connie plays a great role in that.
They don't...
And it's just like,
I don't
here,
know that they
it's
honor
like...
that anymore,
here
though.
it's just like, oh, Connie, you dumb little kid. Don't you know that you can pray when things are good, not just when things are bad?
Yeah, because Connie's ridiculous. When I was listening to it, you don't have to pray for somebody only when things are bad. Like, Wit was being honest there, and Connie was being ridiculous, and then Eugene calls Connie on her assumption, and...
and we jump right from, it's Wit's like... Don't tell anyone, though. And then Connie's like, oh, my word, Eugene.
Yeah.
Like,
Eye roll.
I can't deal with
And then
this.
Penny comes in.
Right.
And she's like, what are you talking about? And Connie's like, Jason's in town. And Penny's like, who's Jason?
Is it supposed to be funny? Are we supposed to laugh and be like, oh, Connie, she never could keep secrets. It's so funny.
Yeah. No,
I don't
it feels
get
like
it.
It should be satirical. Like,
This should be like a Twilight Zone episode.
yeah, well, like, Scrubs has an episode where they, like, basically they make fun of sitcom tropes for being, like, too good to be true, because they are, and, yeah, there's characters playing characters within the episode, and it feels a lot like this.
Right, like this, like they should pull out, and this is actually like a kids' radio sketch about
exactly.
Odyssey.
Yeah.
That
would make it incredible.
I mean, dude, if that is the second episode twist, you're right, this does deserve best episode status.
Yeah.
I take it all back.
If
we
so
pull
wrong.
out, and this is all like...
What if all of Adventures in Odyssey is just kids' radio?
Andrew, that is dangerously close to the to their kill switch that they baked in.
Yep.
Where it can just all be an inspiration station adventure.
Yep.
You know what? These episodes are making me wish they flipped that switch. As much as I was after Green Ring, like, they should never flip the switch. The fact that they have it at all is offensive. If I could reset Odyssey right now at the home again point, I could be into that.
Yeah.
Then we don't get Ties That Bind.
Yep.
We don't get Maury.
Nope.
The world's just a better place.
Yeah, Chris doesn't sound incredibly old in every episode. It makes me so sad. Like, I love her to death, and I genuinely wish the best for her. I hope that she has a long and fruitful life. But hearing new episodes of Odyssey and hearing the age in her voice and the way that she enunciates just breaks my heart. I don't know. Have you had that experience?
I haven't picked up on it, no.
Okay. Maybe I'm just adept to... I'm not gonna... Nope. Mouth shut. Mouth shut moment.
Adept to the vocal tenor of older women?
Yeah. That's where I was going with that.
I think you're fine.
Okay, cool. Women, we love you. Even the older ones.
Especially.
Yeah, definitely.
What now? Oh, so then, yeah, right. You alluded to it already.
Penny.
But Penny walks in, and Connie immediately is like, Jason's back. And Penny's like, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah.
Is it another ex-fiance? Mm-hmm. Which is a good callback to the previous episode, which had Mitch's return in it.
Oh.
Something blue? No, wait, something old, something new. Part 1 and 2 were the return of Mitch. In a 2-parter, and this is just like fun nod to that. It's kind of funny. I don't hate that joke, but then it's like this whole weird like.
Well,
you know about the large portion of the Adventures in Odyssey fan community that is like big on like Connie and Jason should get married.
yeah, that's like the OG setup.
Right. You're like, yeah.
There was only one ship.
Right. This feels very pandery to that, but it's not, though. So, well, it is like simultaneously trying to shut it down and also stoking the flame.
Yes,
because
exactly.
Connie does this whole thing where she's like, no, it's never been like that. We were just, he's like an older brother. An older brother I don't see that often. And then, like, she keeps going. She's like, man, yeah, he doesn't always look scruffy. Man, I haven't seen him in a while. I wonder what he looks like. I really want to, like, catch up with him. And it's just like, all right, so you're saying, like, no, at no point up to this point has Connie seen that as a romantic thing, but maybe we can set that up for the future. Maybe that's how Connie takes over Wit's End. Not by Wit giving it to her because she's his surrogate daughter, but by him giving it to her because she's literally married into his family, which is way less enjoyable.
Yeah, no, but it would transfer really well to, like, medieval land ownership.
Yeah. Except in that version, I think Jason would own Connie as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. And the basement of Wit's End would look very different.
Yeah.
That's where the moat is. The moat's around the outside.
Yeah.
No, it is. Yeah, it's frustrating. I'm glad that you picked up on Connie brushing off the fact that she's like, oh, he's like a brother. And I was like, wait a minute. Are you just ignoring the fact that, like, you definitely had a crush on him in previous episodes?
Right. Like, that's like a subplot of Love is in the Air is like Jason's not interested in me, but I'm interested in him.
Yep.
And it's like, man, I don't want that for you, Connie.
No. I mean, Connie can have love. Connie can be happy and be in a relationship. I'm okay with that. I don't want to hold her back from that. I like the fact that she's single.
Look,
I appreciate the fact that she's single.
The only reason I would want Connie to get married is so they could, like, so that her character could, like, start to grow again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And not just be stuck. Like, what I want is for her to be able to grow again without getting married. Mm-hmm. But I don't trust Focus. And so my thought is if they marry her off at some point, maybe she'll get to have good stories again. But I would rather her good stories just be like she becomes a counselor and don't need a man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I am on your side here. It feels redundant to say, but that would be incredible. I would love that. But is that going to happen?
No.
Hoogler, please. Kathy, please. I'm praying intercession.
Look. We're not wishing for McCusker and Lawler to die, but if they want to, like, retire and hand the reins over to Hoogler and Buchanan...
They definitely could. I wouldn't complain.
Neither of us would be at all upset.
Yeah. And I think that they would respect Lawler and McCusker so much. They would talk to those old, wrinkly white men so much and take into what they say into consideration. But, at the end of the day, I think they'd put out a better product.
Maybe we put too much faith in these people.
Yeah. Maybe it's just by comparison. And, and we rag on this episode a lot, but it was really nice to, like, there are some genuine moments that I did enjoy.
Not me.
Okay, the one moment I liked was when Wint was like, going from doing a lot to doing nothing is really hard. That one hit me.
Okay. I liked
That valid.
hearing Janet Waldo's voice,
Yep.
and I liked a Wooten joke later on.
Yeah. Why don't we skip to that joke?
Because instead, we do get, this is kind of what you were hinting about the whole, like, Scrubs trope episode thing
Yeah.
where you were joking about, but, like, Eugene calls out the plot line of every Connie episode where he's like, you shouldn't jump to conclusions, but I'm going to walk away now so that you can.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, it doesn't make it better to know that they're aware.
It makes them feel trapped.
But now I know.
Now I have this horrible, like, enslaved Muppet view of them.
Yeah. Then we get dumb, like, carnival-y music.
Yeah.
And then Eugene's helping Joanne with the computer.
Which makes no sense.
And Joanne's like, oh, he's like, he built an inventory system for her. And then Joanne's like, is Jason back in town? And Eugene's like, well, I can't say that he's not, but
No.
he is.
No, this is... Yeah. That's really funny. Sorry, I need a second. Yeah, no, the transition is so clumsy. Like, literally, they sit down, he's showing her the computer program, Joanne's super excited about it, and she pulls out these white gold cufflinks from Jason. Say, I think I saw Jason today. Is he in town?
Buddy,
And Eugene just crumbles.
The madness of this thing where it's like Eugene set this whole system up for her to input inventories. The first one triggers her to go, Jason. The second one triggers a literal plot alarm.
Yep.
Like, and that's all that we see.
Yep. Yeah,
It's so clumsy. I just, like, I've come to expect, like plotting that is less lazy.
Yeah.
So much of this episode just feels like putting in the bare minimum. And I get it. We all have bad days. There are for sure episodes of this podcast where I have put in the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And like,
Amen.
I'm sure you guys
Could
who have
tell.
listened have noticed those. I try not to, but sometimes it happens. And like, I want to cut some slack there, but also this is brutal.
Yeah. It's really
This is why we
tough.
have writers' rooms so that one person's off day doesn't wreck a show.
Yeah, exactly. And you just...
And so,
I was imagining Paul showed up to, like, throw ideas around, and everybody else was sick or on vacation. And he just, poured himself a glass ice cold lemonade and went to town and created this
yeah, and
horrendous creature.
and so Joanne puts in the second thing, and somehow Eugene's inventory system that he programmed is connected to an FBI alert database. Because he enters in these rings.
It's like
and
an
an
Amber
FBI warning pops up saying that there is a local jewelry scam.
Yep.
And
And this is the first they're hearing
a
about
local
it.
jewelry... Right. First they're hearing about it.
Not a paper.
And the picture is... Joanne's like, hey, Eugene, that looks just like you. The glasses and the hair and the waistcoat.
Yep. Eugene wears a waistcoat?
It's a waistcoat, not a vest. He establishes that this episode.
Interesting. I mean, I guess he's matured as a gentleman. Maybe he definitely used to wear a vest.
Oh, yes.
But yeah.
Sweater vest, even.
Yeah.
Big sweater vest guy there for a while.
I mean, who among us has not had a sweater vest phase? I guess you.
I did have a sweater vest growing up.
I did.
I wore
had
that
two.
over like a nice button-down shirt. My sweater vest was orange with like an argyle pattern.
I think mine was green with an argyle pattern.
Yeah.
But there was orange in the argyle. We would have made an excellent table setting.
That is my new mixtape, Orange in the Argyle.
I thought that was Frank Ocean's new album.
No. It's my mixtape where I just do Frank Ocean songs.
Hey, I've seen some very touching covers of Frank Ocean songs on the internet.
So have I. There's a great Bastille cover.
Is this sung by an old man?
What?
Oh, most of the covers I'm talking about are like old people.
No,
singing.
Bastille. The band Bastille.
Oh, Bastille
does a cover.
Oh. I thought that you were talking about a cover of a Bastille song that you also saw
No,
on YouTube. I was like, okay.
No, the what's the Thinking About You? They do a good Thinking About You cover.
Ooh, I'll have to listen to that after this.
Yeah, I've got a beach house I could sell you in Idaho. And the he goes on to then just jump to the conclusion that Jason is investigating this jewelry scheme, which honestly, not much of a leap.
Yeah. Because given what he knows, Jason is in town, is in trouble, doesn't know why.
Yes. And so he's taken the diamonds and he's going to go investigate this himself.
Yes, because he can't tell Jason, because if he's undercover, that could endanger him.
Right.
Which is, again, just spoon feed the plot. Like,
Yes.
blend it up.
Oh, yeah.
Mush it down in a cup.
Oh, yeah. Don't tell Wit, Eugene. Go take the law into your own hands. Yep. Well, honestly, taking it to Wit would also be taking it into your own hands.
Taking the law into your own hands. Yeah.
So then there's a conversation where like we cut in on Penny having told Wooten about all this, and he's like funny about it. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, it works for me.
Wooten
kind
is
of
still funny.
Yeah, Wooten's still funny in this episode, and Penny's like, look, I want you to get the information from Wit, and then we cut to good Private Eye music. Thank you, John Campbell. You actually nailed the music cue on that moment. Only time I really liked it this episode. Sorry. That wasn't meant as a backhanded compliment, but it wound up being one. And
You wrote a bad song, PT.
and oh man. So Wooten is, or wait, it cuts to, I will give Christopher Deal a ton of sound engineering credit here. They cut it so that it sounds like someone throwing another person up against a wall. Like it's like a it's like a detective thing. He's like trying to get information, but it's Wit like dropping a box of books.
Yeah,
it is a moment that really worked. Like this little scene here, I think is. I actually like it.
Yeah.
And
I dare say I enjoyed it.
And Wit's got he's packing up books and groceries and fishing rods for Jason. And Wooten's like, well, all those books. I thought you read all the books to read.
Yeah, I thought that you read all the books there were to read. Which the way he says it is so funny.
It's so funny.
Jess Harnell. His uncouth.
Yeah.
And then he says that he's got groceries in the bag, and Wooten goes, the back seat, an excellent place for groceries.
Yeah, and he's got these fishing rods, and is like, we're gonna take the. Wooten's like, you're better on the east side of the lake than the west, and he's like, the south side's closer to this person's thing. It's like, Wit is giving a lot of information here for someone
leaking oil.
Yeah, and Wooten plays it kind of cool, and Wit's half onto him. I don't know. It's kind of funny, and then just the pitch perfect end, which is Wit's getting in the car, and Jason and Wooten's just like, tell Jason I said hi. Yeah,
and Wit goes, what? And then it just cuts out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he goes, tell Jason I said hi. Oops. What? Cut.
Yeah. And and then Penny is telling, is wow, we're gonna we'll go on a picnic and Connie will come too, and Connie's like, are we going fishing? And she's like, no, it's just this whole mess where it's just how could you be this stupid, Connie, that you don't understand what's going on?
Yep. Yeah, so Penny is talking to Wooten about setting up a picnic for Connie so that she can see Jason again, and it's ridiculous and annoying and whatever, and Wooten calls her on it. They give him a joke where he's like, he basically points out exactly how problematic this is.
Right.
And
I don't understand why Penny is trying to get Connie to, like, it is just plot. Like, for reasons fully unknown, Penny has to get Connie to go be with Jason, even though, like, she doesn't want to, and Connie's explicitly been like, hey, I'm not gonna do this because, like, not because I think it's right, but because I want to prove Eugene and Whit wrong, which is also annoying. I hate that that's her motivation, but whatever.
We couldn't give her any growth from a 16-year-old here. Like, literally anything. You chewed up album 8 and you spit it out, and you threw in Andre Stoica. Said, see, it's fine.
Man, there's so much left in this episode. Okay.
Yeah.
We really just got to, like, pick up the pace here. But
we can just...
The next scene, I guess, is important. It's Whit and Jason talking. And Whit is just over and over. Like, Whit's basically hammering home to Jason that, hey, it's tough. It's going to be tough for you to, like, be out here and be alone with God. And Jason's like, nah, I think I got it.
Yep.
And, like, it's
so bad.
It's just an infuriating scene.
Jason is not listening to his dad, and his dad doesn't sound like he's listening to his kid.
Right. Neither of them are
just
listening
talking
to
at
each other. That is the problem here. And it's like there is a good conversation to be had in this moment, and neither party is able to do it.
Yeah, because they're just spouting.
But it had to set up this whole thing of Whit feeling like this was going to be really, really tough for Jason, so that when Eugene called, they could have a two-sided conversation where they were both talking about different things.
Yeah.
Because if Whit didn't feel like Jason was in a tough place, he couldn't communicate that to Eugene erroneously. And then Eugene hangs up, and Whit says, why do I get the feeling that we were talking about two different things?
Yeah. It's worth saying that episode of Scrubs I referenced is one of my least favorite episodes. Yeah, it's really frustrating because it is hard to tell the line of, like, what is trying to be accomplished here. And I get it, it's the last of the album, and Odyssey undergoes a really big change, in the 2 years following this album's release. I don't know what the situation was, if focus changed a lot and they lost a ton of funding or whatever, but the show drastically changed after this point, and I feel like this was, like you said, like, just best. They were trying to do everything that they'd done before, and it just fell flat, just like flat soda.
Yeah. Also, there's a dumb note I have in here, but I gotta address it, which is just Whit picks up the phone and says, like, hi, John Whitaker speaking.
Yeah.
And Eugene's like, it's I, Eugene Meltzner. And I'm just like, how does Whit not have Eugene's contact in his phone? What in the world?
Yeah.
Like, even if you have a flip phone, Whit, you can have contacts.
Yes.
Even if you have a bar phone, you can have contacts.
Also,
there's no excuse for not having contacts in the year of our Lord, 2012.
Yeah. Well, and, he's known Eugene for a while. He probably has his number memorized. Like, what?
Yeah, it's just, it's baffling. Maybe there's a side plot that they cut out of Eugene losing his phone.
Maybe that's in part 2. I'm putting a lot of pressure on this part 2.
So So yeah, and then we cut back to Jason struggling in the exact ways that Whit set up, where he's alone. He's like, oh, he's just got like, he has to monologue to himself because it's an audio show and he's alone. And so he's just like, oh man, I should like, I guess it's time to read. Or I could pray first. All right, let me pray. Half-hearted prayer. All right, time to read now. I guess I'll go on a walk. And it's just like,
it's not a bad vocal performance from Townsend Coleman. I think that he does a good job, and it sounds like Jason is doing it. It just sounds like Odyssey is bad.
Right, with the material given, it's not a bad play. But my word. And then
could you have done anything else?
Yeah. Oh,
give Jason a good panic attack. I find that being alone for a long period of time is incredibly anxiety-inducing if you are not used to it. Yeah. Just, why don't we explore that? A little mental health crisis.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Not this.
What is the point of this episode? Like, the theme is assuming, but there's also, like, a half-hearted mystery and Jason, like, struggling to adjust to small-town life, but not in a way that feels meaningful. Mm-hmm. Like, we just talked about the labyrinth, so how it ended so well and set up so many good things, and then this is the payoff?
Yeah, this is what you come back to. Aren't you so glad you came home to the Muppet Town?
Yeah. And then Eugene takes his rings to be appraised, and I was like, as soon as that scene started, I was like, oh, this guy's gonna think that Eugene's doing the jewelry scheme. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, of course.
But then it's almost weirder than that. Mm-hmm. He does, and he pulls Eugene into the room, and he goes and locks the door, and is like, hey, you're that guy. Mm-hmm. But then he doesn't call authorities or anything. Instead, he Vulcan death grips the man, in the words of the show, Vulcan neck pinches the man.
Yeah.
God forbid we say death grip. And
Fantano might start coming around.
And Eugene's like, that doesn't work in real life. Mm-hmm. And then it works.
Yep.
It's just like more weird lampshady BS. Yep. And this whole episode, my final note is just no good, very bad. Don't listen. Yeah. Just like, what is this episode? Why is this episode? How did this happen?
Why are you like this?
I'm just like...
Have you seen the Noah's Ark memes where it's a half elephant, half penguin, and Noah's looking at the elephants and the penguins being like, what did you do?
No, I have not, but that sounds somewhat amusing.
Yeah, well, I think it's like a Family Guy skit. But, yeah, this feels exactly like that. Where it's like, what did you do?
It just...
I left you new Odyssey, old Odyssey. I did both of them, and this is what happened.
The thing I am holding out for that will be the only point of redemption I think I might actually get is a scene between Jason, Jack, and Joanne. If I can get that scene, I will at least be amicable.
Yeah. That will cover. I will go through all of this suffering if I can get a really good closing dialogue. That's the other thing. Jason does not care about Jack and Joanne moving. When he gets told by Whit, he's like, huh, well, that's nice that they get to do that. Just this was your surrogate father figure. What are you doing? Are you forgetting about all of the old Odyssey? Are you forgetting about the Israelites and all of the Blackguard shenanigans and when Jack tried to save Blackguard and all of that? Oh, he's moving to Scotland and retiring and I'm never going to see him again. That's fine. We don't, soggy noodles. No emotion.
Any other thoughts, Andrew?
Nothing I haven't already said.
Yeah, I feel that too. I don't want to beat this dead horse too far.
I believe we started roughly an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, and we started talking about the same thing we're talking about now. We highlighted a couple things that we liked. Mm-hmm. We mostly disliked this. It is baffling that this episode is well regarded.
I mean, I just can't see it beyond the fact that it has a lot of characters in it. A lot of fan favorite characters.
Yeah.
And I suppose maybe we're just the dummies that are over analyzing the show meant for 8 to 12-year-olds.
For sure. But
But again, like as we previously said, coming off of the Labyrinth Part 3, which is what we're hearing this in context to. I did not listen to any Odyssey, between now and then. And it's just a wild disappointment.
I do have one question I'd like to ask you to go out on here.
Okay. Yeah.
Early in the episode, we set up that Jason drove from Washington to Odyssey. Just a lot of time on the road, listening to music. What was Jason Whittaker listening to, Andrew?
So my first thought is that he listens to like only bands with the name of the state he's in. Like I feel like that could be something he does. Specifically Kansas is the first one that came to mind.
Maybe he's listening to Sufjan Stevens'
Illinois. Yeah, exactly. I think that might be the parameters, but in all honesty, I mean, it's definitely just Christian radio. Right?
Come on, dude. This is Jason Whittaker. He is a rebel. He's not in a good place with God right now.
They've got a rock show.
Possibly killed people.
Yeah.
Like, what do we got? We got, I don't know, is he...
What do you think, Dylan?
I don't know. So this is why I asked you. I do kind of just feel like Jason's probably classic rock.
Yeah, no, definitely like 80s. Yeah. 80s, maybe. I mean, he doesn't strike me as like a Zeppelin fan. He's probably a Rush fan. He probably really likes Fly By Night. Like he's probably really into that. Boston, Kansas.
Yeah, I could see Boston.
I think maybe he gets down with some of the Beastie Boys songs, but like Sabotage because he saw it in a movie one time, and but definitely nothing that swears.
Right.
That's very important, and nothing too explicit as far as like sexuality is concerned, but definitely gets down with some dirty dad rock, like Hot for Teacher or something like that. I could see him just blaring that on the radio.
There you go.
Jesse's mom comes on. Jason's riding through, we'll say, Idaho, and just chucks a beer can out the window. No, he doesn't drink and drive. He's a responsible adult.
Did you say Jesse's mom?
Did I say Jesse's mom?
You said Jesse's mom. I believe you combine Stacy's
mom and Jesse's girl.
And I would just like to call attention to that.
That is worth calling attention to. My brain is truly a place of wonder and
Andrew,
excitement.
If you feel any inclination in the next 3 weeks before this episode airs, I'm gonna challenge you to make a
Jason's road trip playlist.
A Jason's road trip Spotify playlist that we can share out with it.
Well, we have to make an official Wad Fam Chalk Pod Spotify.
Yeah, we can just put it on yours.
That's fine. I would like the traffic.
There you go. Hey, plugs for our Spotifys.
In the description.
It's been a while.
Yep.
All right.
Keep up with what I'm listening to if you care.
There you go. And next week, we will return to talk about the hopefully better episode 725, Home Again, Part 2.
Arrivederci.
Bye.
Wad Fam Chalk Pod is a presentation of the Lidditz Podcast Co-op. Follow the podcast at Wad Fam Chalk Pod on Twitter and Instagram, or email us at wadfamchalkpod@gmail.com. Home Again Part 1 was hosted by Dylan Weaver and Andrew Saylor, edited by Dylan Weaver. And I'm Nathan Haverstick, hoping you'll join us again next time for more of the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.